He conceded.
No way.
The fact that our timing was so incredible at the second watch party, we went through the doors, and this is a beer garden, y'all. We went through the doors as soon as Cuomo conceded. Like, that was the first thing we ran into, was like this huge roar of noise as people realized what was happening. And I swear, you can hear them 3 blocks away.
And we know that because we got ice cream and we walked here and you could hear them yelling, and then we round the corner and they're like, Cuomo conceded, and we walked in and there's like beer up in the air and people giving hugs, and we were giving hugs. It was crazy. Yeah,
it was insane. And we've never been to a watch party like this.
No, I mean, we've never. So one, this is one of the youngest candidates who's ever run for any major office in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay, so New York is the biggest, most important city in the country, some would say, and in the world. Debatable.
Yeah. 8 million people live here.
One of the most diverse cities.
Yep.
And he is one of the youngest candidates to ever run to have so much power.
He's 33.
So he's unprecedented.
Yes.
He's a city assemblyman, super long shot, and yet victory tonight. Cuomo, the former governor of New York, conceding to this millennial. Gen Zer? Millennial. He's
millennial. Yeah.
I'll claim him for our generation. Immediately you got on Slack and you started to message our volunteers, because our job here wasn't to try to get him elected. Our job here was to observe this election and to learn from it. Mamdani was doing stuff that people had never seen. He was utilizing social media in a way people had never seen.
That was a trash.
He was engaging young people in a way that elected officials struggle to, and politicians struggle to. The Democratic Party struggles to have them. And oh, is that him?
Yeah, he's addressing his supporters right now.
I don't know if that's him. I think he's being introduced.
Well, either way, people are running back in to see what's going on.
So it's an important race. It's an important race to know, to see firsthand, to be on the ground for. We were here because we had a documentary screening, one that you'll see soon. It'll be public soon. And then we have a hub that we're trying to launch we're launching in New York. Not trying to. We're launching it in New York. And this election and the excitement around it was undeniable. We wanted to stay and learn from it.
Yeah.
So what did you tell our volunteers in the Slack channel?
Okay. 3 things. Okay. One, that first of all, this is a overwhelmingly young crowd. Not just at the watch party, but in terms of volunteers, voters, like the exact population that we have feared we have lost since the last election carried Mamdani over the finish line.
Yeah.
Yes, and that tells us something. I mean, I'm sure you'll see like 50 takes on what that tells us. But the most important thing for us here is that so often we ask, like, how do we get young people involved? How do we reach people? Like, how do we make sure that like they know what's going on and all of that? And you don't need to be preaching, right? Like, they know what they're doing. While you're asking where they are, the answer was they're not where you are. They're helping to elect Mamdani.
Yeah, and I think it's this is the mayor of Maryland says this all the time, Wes Moore.
Yeah.
He says we don't need to do more research about what the issues are. We know what they are. We've known for years that young people can't afford housing. We've known for years that wealth inequality is a big deal in the country and growing. We've known for years that major blue cities are increasingly less affordable, not just to the communities who used to live there, but also to the next generation of workers, of leaders, of innovators, etc. It's a problem that we've had for years, and yet none of our major candidates on the left have been as laser focused as Mamdani has on the issues that affect young people directly, in addition to other folks.
Yes.
And that's the bigger story is like these issues. Yes, these issues are important to young people, and also these issues are universal issues. These are the reasons why we lost the election last year, is because we didn't focus on these enough. And his message discipline has been something that has been, I think, key to his success here.
Yeah. Like you see it everywhere. Like people know his policy slogans by heart, right? It's a universal childcare, it's fast and free buses, and it's freezing the rent. Like I'm naming the top 3 things just by being here for 48 hours.
Yeah,
because it's everywhere. It's on social media, it's like plastered across the walls, it's hanging from freeways, and he is only trying to run on one thing, which I think, to your point about focus, right? So many people can get behind that one thing, regardless of where they stand politically on the progressive to conservative spectrum, and it's making the city affordable.
So, for a young person, he's had extreme message discipline, and this is something that, I mean, people are going to research his campaign starting right now. Every top news anchor on CNN, MSNBC is going to try to explain why Mamdani won.
Yeah.
They're going to say he got out the vote for the young people. They're going to say he focused on economic issues.
Yeah.
You know, these are all things that you could tell before his race, before the result of the race. I think that where he excelled beyond even Kamala Harris is that whenever people approached Mamdani with other issues, he brought it back to affordability over and over and over again.
100%.
He didn't say, oh, I'm gonna, here's the piece on Israel, Palestine, Gaza. Like he didn't go into some long speech about that.
Right.
People ask questions about his history as him being a socialist. He didn't go into, let's argue about why socialism is actually a valid thing. He always, no matter what, if it was trans issues, if it was the Democratic Party, every single time he moved it back to his platform, to affordability, to those issues that you just mentioned,
100%.
Around rent, around buses, around the cost of living here in the city, and that's what broke through.
Yeah.
It is message discipline, and it can happen with young people. They can have it too, and sometimes better than other folks. We don't need to fight every single battle.
But also,
we need to choose the battlefield.
Yes, and also I feel like young people understand that more, because to go viral on social media, to trend, you actually have to be focused. Like when you're a creator or when you're an influencer, you don't happen to be influencing 50 things at once on your profile. You create another profile. Like you stay focused, you stay like that's how you game the
You're
algorithm.
like, I have a channel, and it's about makeup.
And that's right. And if I want
to have a food channel.
Right.
Or
Yeah, or like I developed an interest about ducks, I'm creating a different duck channel. I'm not putting ducks in my makeup channel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then people get that. Like that's how you spread your message, is that you stick to it.
Yeah.
And young people, I think, get that more than any generation.
Yeah, and this is like the what comes from social media training.
Yeah.
They're experts at messaging.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. And so, okay, here's the other thing. That I said is that like this blows any doubt about volunteering and door knocking out of the water for me. I don't believe anybody now that says that door knocking does not work.
Okay. So
I don't. Yeah.
So let's talk about his volunteer stats.
Yes. Okay. 1.5 million doors.
1.5 million doors.
And yo, take a look at how many people voted in this election. 1.5 million doors, 50,000 volunteers.
50,000
volunteers. 400 of them elevated to be a field lead. So people who run canvases.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. And how many doors is that per person?
30 doors.
30 doors. Okay,
Yeah.
which is like not an awesome ratio, but it's like.
But it's a shift.
But it's a common power ratio.
Yeah, it is.
It's like.
We understand that.
Yes. That's like about what we do.
Right. Now we do like a day. We do like that a day.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Yeah, okay, so first thing I noticed immediately, he does not use Mobilize. He does not use Every Action. Everything is run through one centralized place, and it's his website. All right? That speaks to the focus on messaging and going to one place. But as soon as you get there, the first thing you see is this pop-up, and it is not to donate for him. It is not to sign up for his newsletter. It is to sign up for a canvassing shift. It is not about phone banking. It's not about text banking. It's not order postcards to do with your friends. It's get on the doors.
It's about volunteering.
It's about volunteering.
That's great. And the
Yes.
money follows after that. I think
Right.
people like they put their blood, sweat, and tears into it.
Right.
And then they go, I would like to support this economically as well. And then also the donor class sees their kids, their grandkids getting excited, and they're like, this Mamdani guy's
This is
got
it.
some juice.
This is it.
And I want to give some money to that.
Right.
So the money follows the work.
Right. Yes. And and I believe that like in this city where so much of it is built on like we've been in New York for just a couple of days, and already so much of it is just more in person than any other city that we've ever been in, right?
Yeah.
Like
we talked about this where people hang out in sidewalks here
hang
still.
out sidewalks, go out
Yeah.
and like they dap each other up, they're in community.
Yeah.
And so the way that you get yourself across the finish line is to build trust, is to build connection, and you do that in person with door knocking. You don't do that with an ad on TV that people won't see because they're not home. You don't do that by calling people because they have spam blocks now on their phones, and you're not gonna do it through postcards because like what are they gonna do when they get home? They're not gonna read postcards.
Yeah, and you're gonna use social media because that's where the people are. You're gonna go to where people are and serve them content where they are.
Exactly.
And you're also going to create video cheap and on the fly because then you could create video in the moment, you can pivot, you can have an idea,
Yes.
and you can just pull out your phone and shoot a video like that.
Yeah, and it's not just his campaign. He believes in this too. Like if you look at the last, like I haven't been following this for very long, but like our team has been looking at his social media and what he puts out for the last 2-3 weeks is him doing walks. He's just walking New York.
Yeah.
And there's
And talking
someone,
to people, shaking hands.
yeah, shaking hands. There's someone with a camera following him for hours through the city. And people are recognizing him, they're engaging with him. And like this is like for a candidate to spend hours doing nothing but walking a city, like that to me tells me where his values is. This close to election. Yeah.
Okay, so what does this mean for the rest of the country? Mamdani's a democratic socialist. He's a socialist. A socialist just won a major election. That's a huge deal. Okay, on the political spectrum, that is a massive deal. You want to show the hat? Yeah, the New York Democratic Socialist. A city full of immigrants voted for somebody who was a socialist. It wouldn't have been on anyone's bingo cards, but it happened, and that's a shift. It's a shift towards the left, maybe. I don't think it's that simple. I think it's a shift towards a more populist message, but it is definitely his economic message that was one that probably won this for him. That's one thing. Another one is young people that dictate a strategy of a campaign, that dictate messaging of a campaign, and that get closer to the ground is going to be the way that people move. It is not going to be okay to talk to a bunch of consultants and have them drive your campaign or your messaging if you're an elected official.
That's right.
It's not going to be okay to be absent and not close to the ground, talking to people, talking to voters, and not be seen as doing so. All these elected officials who are not doing town halls, Democrat or Republican, they're in trouble. They're in trouble now.
Yeah.
One caveat in this is that it's a blue state, right? So this is a formula that's not going to work everywhere, but all elected officials in New York, they're on notice. California, you're on notice. Washington State, Colorado, Illinois, Maryland, you're on notice. If you're in a blue state and you're doing stuff like you're in a purple state, if you're following moderates on your messaging or even trying to be more conservative like Republicans, you're doing it the wrong way and you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose in the primaries. And not just because there's going to be some grassroots candidate who's going to come up and want to challenge you. It's going to be because there are people like David Hogue who just got expelled from the Democratic Party who are still on their mission. And they're going to see a signal like Zoran winning and go, this is what we need to push throughout the entire country. We're going to put dollars behind it. Another thing is that the donors who want to be in the winner's circle, they're going to see this and they're going to see the same thing. They're going to read it exactly how I just read it. And they're going to say, my interests are to be with the winners, and I'm going to actually pump money into things like people that David Hoke, like what they're doing. And so that is just going to gain more momentum and more steam, and blue states are going to form more left-leaning candidates from here out.
One more thing, can I attach one more thing to that?
Yeah.
If you're an organization that's doing political work, get out the vote, persuasion, candidate recruitment, whatever, you can't afford to sit out primaries anymore. Like, you cannot afford to just be like, I'll wait to see who makes it through and I'll just back them for the general. Like, this is where the fight is, especially if you're in a blue state. Especially if you're in a blue state, but also for swing states too. Like, I think this, like, I know New York is very special and there's not a lot of other cities that can compare to New York and its electorate. But the fact that people are willing to consider alternatives to this extreme, if you're to take a step back and look at traditional political like options, right? Means that even if you're in a swing state and you have the power to decide an election by either supporting with money, time, volunteers, whatever, the primaries become even more important in the midterms than they ever have been before.
Which is why
we're going.
That's why we were just in New Jersey. That's why we're in Virginia just now. That's why we are going to Arizona.
That's right.
In July.
That's right.
Because we understand that you can't just do the general. You got to be in the primary. Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right. Any last messages for our volunteers?
My volunteers. So block off October 2026 to November 2026, and then pick your favorite state, look up its primary election day and block off 2 weeks before that, and then also allow yourself to dream about the candidate that you wish you could back if you didn't have logistics and reason and all of that behind you, you know? Like what holds you back? Because
now's the time, actually.
Now's the time.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting take. And we interviewed a bunch of people. The videos will come out in a little bit. We interviewed a bunch of people, and some of what they said was, I couldn't believe that a candidate who represents my ideals could win.
Yes.
And this has renewed my hope in society.
Right.
And the time for that was not last year. The time for that, like last year, was about getting in line. This year is really about dreaming.
Yes.
It is about dreaming for what you want for America, what you want for your elected official, and shoot your shot this year.
Because we're in a power vacuum, right? Like if you had to apply logic to it, like we're in a power vacuum. Leaders will rise in the next 6 to 8 months, if not the next year. And to have a leader that we actually feel that we want to take over the finish line, we have to show them that we love them. That we're not just looking at them for their ability to win in 4 years and 6 years. We have to say that I like what you're putting on the table and I love you now. Yeah. Okay.
All right. There we are, live from New York. It's Tuesday night. Election night.
Makes you look good.
Mamdani for the win. Mamdani for the win.
Let's go. We'll be back.